Hello, and welcome back to the EDC Squirrel. The day's come again, and it's time for another unboxing from Monthly Knife Club. Just got this in the mail today, and let's see what we got. This is becoming a very well-anticipated event in the home. So let me just open this up real carefully. Okay. Now, again, for those that don't know about Monthly Knife Club is one of those subscription boxes that where you pay a subscription, and they have various different types or various different tiers, I should say. And every month, you're charged the subscription cost, well, whichever tier you get, and depending on what tier you're in, you can get either knife. Some of their tiers include other everyday carry gear. I think they even have like a knife and club thing now. Or I'm sorry, knife and watch thing now. Knife and club thing. What I currently have are the name brand knife plan. It's one of the name brand knife plans, and it's the it's a mid tier. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Tier 2. That's it. They have a starter, a standard, a tier 2, and they have an Onyx, which is their highest and most expensive plan. And this includes one knife, depending on the cost of the plan that you get. I think the first one is a starter one is a $25 plan, standard is $35, tier 2, which I belong to, is $55, and the Onyx runs up to $129 a month. Again, this is the tier 2 one. And what we have here, ooh, okay, this is going to be interesting. We have an SRM. And they always include a card with information on this. And I've got a 255L Ambilight model, either 255L GT or GK. Let's read this here. The SRM Ambilight folding knife is a compact and efficient EDC designed for smooth operation and everyday reliability. Its benefits include a mono chassis liner with Ambilight offering enhanced strength and secure lock engagement. A stone-washed 10CR 15CO MOV blade that delivers VG10-like performance with excellent edge retention and a G10 handle for lightweight durability and grip. The Ambi clip allows for tool-free repositioning, making it ideal for left or right-handed users. With ceramic ball bearings and single finger lock control, the 255L combines premium feel with budget-friendly value. And then they have the specs here. Let's go ahead and pull the knife out so we can look at that while going over the specifications. And let's open that from there where it actually says open. In the box, we have a little cloth bag, some inedible candy, and I do like these bags. They're kind of nice. I've got quite a few SRM knives, and I've been pretty impressed with what I've gotten so far from them. Let's see here. With the exception, I think maybe one was kind of like, it's all right. This, ooh, that's a nice color. Okay, don't have anything like this in the... Well, no, maybe something from Savivia might have something similar in color. Looks like an antique bone almost color. So I know that's in G10. They say here weight is going to be 2.47 ounces. Blade length is 3.2 inches. Overall length is 7.5 inches. Blade material, again, TCR stainless steel, similar to VG10. Handle material is G10. We got a drop point blade. Ambilight, which is their term for a crossbar. And it is tip-up carry. And we also have ceramic ball bearings. That is pretty smooth. So a total cost, they say on this one, for me, again, it's $55 shipping and handling. Value is going to run between $59.95 and $72.95. So let's take a closer look at this one. Again, this is the SRM. Ooh, I've got some ink on my hand, apparently. I don't know where that came from. But thankfully, that came off pretty easily. Okay, so we've got The amblock, stay ready for more on the back. The partial liner right behind where the crossbar is. Dual thumb studs. There's the pocket clip. They say the pocket clip is reversible, and I believe the way that works is, let me close this real quick. The way that works is you can pinch right here and then simply remove the pocket clip and then move it to the other side. Now, it's perfectly fine where it's at for me, so I'm not going to go ahead and move it, but, well, I can show you. And then you just slip it on the other side. And then that will lock in place. The pocket clip's actually not that bad. Deep carry. And then after it swoops down and comes back up, it flattens out again at the tip. So hopefully that can help prevent it from snagging anything as you're carrying it in your pocket. Pretty decent size. Scales, pretty reminiscent of any other G10 that I've carried before. I wonder where that black stuff is coming from. There we go. And the thumb studs are pretty comfortable. Action on the blade is pretty nice. Now, if you look inside, I've had a few of these before where the liner isn't a full metal liner, as you can see there. I don't know if it's inside or encased. I don't believe it is. I don't believe there's any other like liner going throughout the entire handle. It just goes through like just a little past the crossbar lock there, and then the handle is predominantly the G10 scales. But the nice thing about that is it keeps the knife really light, and there's no real flex on the scales at all. These are pretty rigid. Now, with the blade closed, let's see here. Pretty well centered, which is something I always like to see. And again, really nice, smooth action attributed to the ceramic ball bearings that they have in there. The spring isn't too difficult to actuate on the crossbar lock. And the detent isn't the strongest, so there is a little bit of movement there. If I shake it, there we go. I actually managed to get that to drop out on its own. Takes a bit of force, but I've seen that on quite a few, even more expensive knives. It's not much of a worry unless, like, I'm holding it and it just flops out on its own. It still has enough detent for, I mean, obviously it's not falling out on its own, but a really strong flick will get that blade open. Again, I've seen that on other knives that were even more expensive than this, so that's not too much of a concern. And usually when I'm carrying, I carry tip up. Oh, well, there's marker. I wonder where they came from. When I'm carrying tip up, I normally have the edge backed up against the back of my pocket, or against the seam at the back of my pocket, so that helps prevent it from opening as well. And also, if it were to open, it wouldn't be anywhere near where my hand would go if I were to stick my hand in my pocket. Let's see here. Still trying to figure out where that marker came from, so I'm not marking anything else. Okay. It's weird because I don't remember picking up a marker. But anyway, let's take a closer look at that blade. Again, they said it's a drop point, and with this drop point, or with this blade, let's see how good that crossbar lock is. Okay, I'm not feeling any movement on the blade, either up or down, side to side, so that seems very secure on that one. I did notice a little bit of rattling earlier. I don't know if that might have to do with maybe a loose pivot. It seems to have corrected itself a little bit. Let me see how loose that pivot is. Let me grab a tool real quick. I don't know what kind of tool this one requires. I've got a T8, and that fits in perfect. Okay, so the pivot is a T8. I'm not feeling any looseness. The pivot feels tight, so I don't believe it's going to need. Yeah, so I don't think it's due to any loose screws or pivots. And oddly enough, it seems to have worked itself out. So I did notice some rattling very early on when I first opened this up, but now I'm not feeling it anymore. Again, very quick, very smooth action. Very nice. What do we have with that card? Let's see here. Okay, we went through all that information. Let's see how well this cuts through some magazine papers. See how well they finished off on that blade. Now, last time I had an SRM, it was insanely sharp. Probably one of the sharper knives I've ever cut with. And oh, just like that last SRM, very slicey blade and very smooth feeling as it goes through the paper. I am not feeling anything remotely like a tear. And that's got to be one of the smoothest cuts along that paper. It's kind of hard to see. It's probably one of the smoothest cuts along that paper edge I've ever seen. I don't know what SRM is doing with their knives when they finish the blades, but they are crazy sharp. Almost frighteningly so. Oh, that was my fault. Now, let's take a look at the edge. I just noticed something as I'm cutting through the magazine paper. And a lot of times when I'm looking at a knife edge, I can see the individual scratch marks. Now, I can see scratch marks on the edge of this blade. However, that is a much nicer polish than I would normally see, or that I've normally seen on even more expensive knives. I don't know who's doing the finishing over at SRM when it comes to sharpening their knives, but they are doing a pretty amazing job. Because all of these last few SRMs that I've had have been the sharpest I've ever put through on that paper, like crazy sharp. If I were to pull out another knife, I don't think, like a lot of the knives I have, a lot of them are very, very sharp. Don't get me wrong, but this is one of the crisper. I can't even talk. This is one of the crisper edges I've seen when cutting through this magazine paper, and it feels so smooth going through, and almost whisper quiet. That is one sharp edge. I have no doubt. I'm almost scared to try this. Let me see. I am just lightly running it over my arm. And that's razor sharp. Easily shaved that hair off my arm. And I was barely applying any pressure to it. So, amazingly sharp knife. I'm really impressed with how well they finish their edges. Now, as far as the grip is concerned, I can get a full Gorilla grip in there. It's a pretty neutral grip. You've got a bit of a belly right here, That kind of makes it a bit more comfortable than just having uh, a straight on edge of the scale, and a little kick up over here, something that can hold on to your pinky. You don't have any real finger choil on the blade. You got a nice sharpening choil here. On the blade itself, we have SRM with "Stay Ready for More" etched on one side, and we have what appears to be the model number of this blade, as well as the steel type. Or wait, no, that is not the steel type. What is that? Looks like a serial number or another type of model number. I don't know what that would be. 047 November Uniform Quebec 00576. I don't know what that would be. Actually, I thought that would have been where a lot of times they'll put the type of steel that's on the blade. Now, it is, or it does appear to be a flat grind. Yeah, a flat ground blade. A bit of swedging at the top. Nice smooth curve to the belly, and just a hint of a drop towards the tip. It's almost completely flat. Like you could almost call this a flat blade, but there's just a hint of a drop there. Got looks like to be like a brass accent around the pivot. SRM emblem there. SRM emblem on the clip. And I think I've mentioned before, "Stay Ready for More" on a backliner. And we have a spot for the lanyard hole there, or for a lanyard. Pretty impressed, to be quite honest. Very light, very quick and flippy. And I know okay, that's that clicking you might hear is me trying to force the blade out. I can feel the crossbar lock like give a little and then snap back, and then that's the clicking that I'm hearing. That or the blade. Okay, there we go. Takes a bit of effort, but and you got your typical Omega spring, so nothing different there. I can see the springs in the cutout of the scales. Pretty impressed though. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Best Tech cicada wings, only with a different blade profile. And I actually kind of like the color. It's pretty nice. Don't have to. I think I have maybe one more knife that's similar to this, and I think it's made by Savivi. The triptych is a similar color. And again, the G10 isn't slick. It's your typical G10 grippiness that I see in a lot of different knives. But otherwise, pretty sweet. Pretty impressed. The thing that surprises me the most is just the finishing on that edge. It's just amazingly sharp. And I don't, again, whoever's finishing these edges over at SRM, they're doing something special over there. It's kind of hard to convey just how nice that edge is. I mean, pretty well polished. I don't see edges this well polished on a lot of other knives that are easily much more expensive than this one. But that is pretty sweet. So yes, going to go ahead and continue with the monthly knife club. So far, I've been happy with everything I've got from them. If you're interested to try them yourself, you can find them at monthlyknifeclub.com. I'll go ahead and put a link down below in the description. Again, they have several different tiers, several different types of subscriptions. You can peruse their website, pick the one that you feel best fits you, and I think they bill at the very beginning of the month, depending on when you subscribe, and then they generally ship out around the middle of the month. But yeah, for August, pretty neat knife, very usable. and amazingly sharp. I can't get over how sharp that is. I'm going to have to get out my other SRMs and play around with them again. That's almost super scary sharp. But thank you guys for watching. If you liked what you saw, please drop a like down below. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe and then hit the notification bell. That way you're notified of any new videos as soon as they drop. But I will definitely be continuing with my subscription and can't wait to see what they have in store for me next month. But thanks again and hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.